do.
We have. I think overall I still favor CFO's composition coming into this one. But CFO, they don't have a great track record, so kind of have to prove us wrong almost in what we think of them currently. And I think that even if they pick up this win against Impunity, they probably do head into playoffs, at least as the weakest team. Or, I don't know, it's hard to say if it's just recency bias, because at the same time, the loss streak extends back pretty far.
Yeah, well, they've lost all but one game so far in the second round robin.
Yep.
Picking up the first win, coming into the fourth week of the split, and then since then, have not been able to find a single one since.
Oh, and Shera.
Yeah, Shera is going to be caught out. He's stunned up. Ignite is popped. Is he going to flash away?
He's dead though, right?
But yeah, the auto attack comes through. First blood for Jimian.
That's really, really bad, especially because he now has no flash. And I think Gemini will definitely look to punish that. They might even start the Raptors here. They could have Nico leech this, so a horrible start to the game. And CFO, they've got to be really... Look at the Raptors chasing that guy. Is Shera going to TP? No, he walks back to lane. I wonder, does that mean he misses the first 3 creeps?
Should do.
Oh.
And Gemini is actually staying around.
Okay, I think he got 1, but he's still down 2 creeps of XP, and that's really not how you want to start this lane.
Bot lane, trades coming out, definitely favoring CFO. Again, I say it so many times, this Alistair truly is just a pinata when it comes to level 1.
He's going to take even more damage here.
Yeah. Blaze trying to do what he can to trade back, but shouldn't be too bad, honestly. As long as you get that level 2 without losing too much health. Alistair does have that sustain in his kit.
And both junglers are on this side of the map. Oh,
okay.
Wow, nice flash.
Yeah. Nice flash from both of them. Honestly, for failure to find that timing. Chelsea now going in, but there is no flash available for this. Alistair cleanse comes through on the Ignite as Shun picks himself up a kill. And while it was a nice find initially to get that summoner spell out of Shun, ultimately it was turned around as soon as Chelsea was able to
he gets level 3.
2. Yeah, level 3 for Gemini.
3, and I think he's going to dive with it. There's no ward. There are both summons for Blaze though, but I think he's in big trouble.
He's going to have to react pretty quickly.
Oh, okay, Gemini decides. Yeah, so they're going to play it safe. I guess they don't have confirmation on where the Viego is. There was no level 1 ward.
Yeah, but you'd trade that level 1 ward for a level 1 kill. Take a look at the replay, though.
Yeah, so they hit level 2 first, and to his credit, this probably works a lot of the time. But it was a really nice reaction from Shun, and then Chelsea immediately punishes. See there, they do manage to pick up this second blood on a Shun, and picture-in-picture, Rest is forced to flash away. It was Arashi who committed his flash, so it doesn't come for free. And Gemini is going to maybe give him a couple smacks on the way out, but could be in trouble, maybe.
Yeah, Rest does have teleport available, but certainly won't be arriving for a good long while as Arashi following down. Doesn't want to be giving over this Scuttle Crab for free, and Gemini lands the root, but it will be Arashi managing to pick himself up that. Rest, though, coming through.
Or jump, I mean.
Okay, it was spotted out. Nice ward there to ensure they know what's going on with this Jax.
Well, nothing too much ends up coming of that. Rest now has reset though, and LJW still has his TP if he wants to use it. Hex flashing forward. Ooh. Goes back. Chelsea's on his way down bot, but Chelsea's still only level 2. Needs a little bit more XP here to tick over.
Yeah, an early lead here for CFO. Finding themselves up a comfortable 1.2k gold, especially at this stage of the game, feels pretty nice. And Rest getting an extremely favorable trade there up in the top lane. Now, LJW does still have access to his teleport, so should be able to come and collect at least the majority of this wave.
Invading into the bot side here is CFO. They're going to just drop a ward, I would think. That's going to give them some information to work with. Can continue to pressure these lanes. I'd be surprised if they look towards the 5-minute dragon, although Gemini is entering the river, probably for the scuttle. See where he goes after that. There's a reset coming out of Jimmy and has himself the Sork shoes and an M-tome, so a lot of pressure to put onto the mid lane. And I think because he's reset first, if Gemini does want to start this, he can. He's thinking about it.
It would be what old CFO would have done.
Said trying to look bot.
Yeah, Philia, nice headbutt there. Denies the knockout, but ultimately the root comes through here. It's going to be Shun who finds himself yet another kill. Top side, it looks like Rest doing exactly what Driver did, executing. Difference being that there is no teleport available for this Jax. It's a little bit later in the game, so the recall timing won't be quite as nice. And probably going to have to lose out on some minions for it. Although the cannon minion wave means that likely only to be one melee and the cannon.
Yeah, and I think that's decent given that you were down TP to have a mostly even base.
You reckon Shera's fooled by the Xayah that randomly appeared out of the bush?
Be a little surprised. But who knows? Blaze is taking a lot of damage down here. He still has both his sums, so probably won't be dive, but I think the prospect of a dragon becomes more and more realistic for CFO. There are pings into that bot river. Jimmy, and I think he's aware. If he does get stunned though, yeah, there's no follow-up, at least not yet. And that's Syndra stunned down for 18 seconds, so Arashi is probably going to have to walk away from here. There's mid and bot pros. I think Gemini finally can start this up, and I think if you can get it before the Herald, so it's obviously always good. Now Herald will be interesting because Herald, we've said before, normally does go the way of the Renekton, pretty much always. But Nico, I would say, is stronger than Syndra early at this Herald. And I also think that the bot lane for CFO, they're the ones getting priors, so Shalcy most likely will hit 6 first. So despite having the Renekton, I think Impunity might end up losing the Herald. We'll see what happens though. As Gemini is going to enter. He finds this blue. He's going to start it up. There's a lot of tempo invested onto bot side though, so he needs to be careful how long he stays around for. Nice from Shalcy to just come help him hit this. Makes it just that little bit faster. Reset will come in and wouldn't be surprised to see him just walk to the Herald out of the base.
Oh, how annoying is that?
Yeah, he's really, really low. They're looking again, but Jimmy, he should be
stun
fine.
lands, the root will follow up, and out comes the Syndra ultimate, but Jimmy and Living very, very low HP. There is no Heartbreaker available, as they will turn their attention now on towards Gemini, onto this Poppy, and they find a nice bit of damage here. Gemini, though, proccing that phase rush, will run away despite the ignite placed on his head by Phelia's Alistair.
That's a good chunk, though, and I think with Gemini forced to recall, if Arashi's quick about it, he could probably start up the Herald before Gemini can get there, and I think he will. The question is, does Gemini arrive in order to fight afterwards? Because Jimmy doesn't have TP either. Yeah, maybe it's just gone. I think Impunity will get this, and that's pretty much all based off that mid lane skirmish. So that's a nice pickup for them, and will slow down the game quite a lot, which they desperately need. They've got the Zeri and the Syndra, and they've really been struggling in the early game so far. Just kind of puts the brakes on. With all this tempo invested topside though, Gemini, he's going to realize that. And he's pathing straight towards bot, which would make Blaze the victim. There's no TPs up for Impunity, so no way to protect this. It is just going to be a 2v3, perhaps even 2v4 in the future, as Blaze already is getting walked off the tower. Cleanse used, and ulti.
Pops his ult, okay. They're finding a good trade back in terms of damage. Chelsea going forward. It's going to be Philia who is immediately blowing up. Philia playing the price there for Blaze's sins, and more plates going over to CFO's bot lane. Huge advantage here for Shun on the Xayah. And it looks like it's taken 8 games, but maybe we're going to see CFO pick up a second win in the second round robin.
You would hope so. And I think their Impunity's bot lane really misread the map. You know, so much invested topside means that Arashi won't be bot for a long time. And of course, Gemini, on a champ like Poppy that doesn't really value those camps as much, is just going to sprint to bot side. And look how much the bot lane has lost there. Even though Blaze survives, he's now incredibly far behind. Doesn't have the Shiv, so doesn't feel comfortable under the tower. And they kind of need Arashi to bail them out. I mean, look how long Gemini is just sitting here. And the problem is Impunity don't know if he's here or not. They have to respect it. But for all they know, he could have been clearing camps the whole time. They do finally clear it out now, and so he feels comfortable to walk back up. But how much has been lost? I mean, the tower's almost gone, even though they don't have the Herald. And Shun is just... He has the Supreme Money gun by now.
Yeah, certainly does. I'll be interested to see what he can get when he recalls, because it feels like he just got a massive amount of money. Gold flowing everywhere in this man's veins. Wouldn't be too surprised to see the Kraken Slayer already. It will be.
Big pickup. And he's going to want to just grab that first tower bot, I would think.
Yeah. Definitely feels like it. And it feels like it should be honestly going down. Without the existence of a static shiv yet on Blazers there, it doesn't feel like you really have the means to stop any form of siege out of Shun and Chelsea.
Probably not. As a TP comes in.
Or Philia will be stunned up, does have ult. Unbreakable will be popped here as he tries to look for something, but really nice reactions out of Gemini to deny that with the steadfast presence.
How broken is Poppy?
Yeah, he's a disgusting champ. But you know why?
Why?
Jungler.
Oh, true. Okay, Herald has dropped towards mid. It is just going to be plates, though, and I think bot tower might actually just fall in the 1v1. Blaze is forced off the tower, I think purely isolated. And now that is gold that goes on to share as Syndra, which is a nice pickup, but Shun is too far ahead on the bot side. I mean, it's a 4k gold lead at only 11 minutes. And I think that CFO, they're just going to want to keep stacking up these drags. This is going to be, I think, a real tough one for Impunity to contest. There's no ulti on this Oyster, and it's not going to be up in time. Shera might be able to recall for item, which will make him a bit stronger, but really, I think missing the Oyster ult is just too much. And Arashi, forced out of his jungle. So much vision dropped here, and I think you just give this second dragon over. The question is, what are you playing for? I mean, maybe you scale well on the Zeri Syndra, but I think Xayah scales very well as well, and I don't think Nico necessarily scales badly. Not as well as Syndra, for sure, but will scaling really be a relevant factor with these two dragons picked up so early? It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I think Impunity really have their work cut out for them if they're trying to find a foothold back into this game. Where do you think it really starts? It's hard to say. Maybe if they are able to find Shun out of position is really the only way you see them plausibly winning a team fight. But once Nico gets the rocket belt online, it even feels worse then because the team fights can come from anywhere, especially those pesky minions walking down lane.
Okay, now Chelsea is back on the top side, so they're going to deploy Shun to mid. And Rest now has a mythic advantage over his opponent, so it's going to be difficult. LJW hasn't reset yet, and he's going to be forced into it now. But I think already this is kind of starting to get to the point where the Jax is now more useful than the Renekton. Unless you can get that flash W onto a carry and then follow-up comes through. Impunity members are going to come up.
Yeah, the hit squad's arriving.
They... Oh, Rest. He might just face check this. Oh, nice ward.
Keeps himself nice and safe up there. LJW will recall. You imagine he should have the Gore Drinker. Definitely does. Not even the boots, though, as he teleports back to lane. Just sitting on that lonely... What's it called? Cloth armor?
Yeah. I wouldn't expect too much to happen. Feels like it's... Although...
Yeah, you say that. Gemini finds something onto Arashi. The knock-up is there to follow through. But the side of CFO being a little bit scared of the possibility of an engage and collapse coming through. You saw the damage, though, just come out of Gemini and Jimmian. Gemini almost annihilating Arashi by himself, and then Jimmian finding that route into the queue there onto Philia, pretty much taking him out single-handedly. Now, Shera is here up in the top side to try and help out LJW. Arashi is arriving. Oh, but a big, big chunk there. And how much damage is that? That is so disgusting.
It's a lot. It's pretty hard to play against. And the Nico's just going to stay up in the top lane here. Just keep pressuring this tower. It's pretty hard for Renekton to ever go forward. And with that ward, it will spot out these other targets. CFO, they start up the Herald, which I think is pretty important. You grab this, you can probably get that mid tower, which without it is going to stay up a long time. Blaze has got that Shiv, but it's a 43 CS lead for Shun. And it hasn't come out of nowhere. There was a lot of pressure put towards bot. But even still, being down 40 CS as a Shiv user is pretty insane. Because you kind of get to the point where you just get the entire wave for free and there's nothing anyone can really do about it. Now bot wave is crashed there by Cher, and no one's going to TP down to clear it. Jimmy's going to try walk, spots a couple members here. Goldie's remaining pretty steady at 4K and 2 dragons to 0. So 2 more minutes on the dragon. And I think this is one that Impunity probably should contest. They have all the relevant spikes. The question is, are you strong enough to actually win? It doesn't feel like it, especially when you compare, I think, the ADC items. And honestly, still just the relative powers, right? Even if Syndra items are comparable to Nico's, I think Nico is just a lot more impactful at a fight like this. And if you give over the first 2 dragons, that really speeds things up because you would really want to just, buy a bit of time. Let your carries get towards 2 items. But if you give the third, you're under that 4th dragon pressure for just the entire rest of the game, which feels so suffocating.
Definitely does. And now, a minute out from this dragon spawning, you can expect both teams to really look to try and get some vision around it. As you kind of touched on, it feels like either one of these teams don't want to give it up. Obviously, CFO stacking them up nice and quickly. And Impunity on the other side. They need time to get these items. And if they give over this dragon, it feels like that time's never going to be really given to them. The Rift Shield coming through. Just looks like with how many members are here, Shun having access to the tower should be picking up this mid lane inner. Gemini holding that ultimate, won't use it.
Yeah, holding the ult, I think, is pretty important. Means he will still have it for the dragon fight. It's really nice that you can just kind of pressure with it and not actually use it. Now, there are no 2 items picked up for CFO. They haven't got to that stage yet, but there is a stopwatch for Jimian. Might have just been from his runes. I can't remember what he took, but could also just be building towards his Zhonya's second. And the way Impunity are playing kind of suggests that they want to trade, but realistically, there isn't anything. They could dive Rest, but I even think if Rest dies, you're still so far behind. They're going to try, though. And Rest, I think he has to know by this point. If he could hold the wave off the tower, it would be good.
Okay, there are 4 members up here, and Rest does flash out of the initial engage, and it's going to just be fine. He's actually jumping forward here. He's 1v3. LJW will be able to find the stun. It looks like Rest might be found out. The root lands. He does get onto his tower. And with Chelsea arriving, he will be safe.
But even with that much committed top, they still don't really get a trade. I mean, they got the flash out, but it felt like it was... I mean, they had that at the beginning, right, with that engage. Lost a lot of health on the way out and means they can't even get... they can't even deny waves. They can't even take camps. So now 3 drags to 0, only 18 minutes in. This is the CFO of old. And I hope they're here for the playoffs. Looks like this blue will even get yoinked away. CS lead in the 80 carry position continues to grow. But you almost wonder where it's coming from, because you would expect Blaze to just be picking this all up, but I think he might have given a mid-wave there to go top. Ultimately doesn't end up doing anything.
I do think some jungle camps are being gobbled up by Shun.
Could be.
Definitely feels like maybe that's at least some of the gold. Some of the CS, shall I say. Now, there's really a 4-minute timer on the game, but with how strong CFO are, they could make that just a 1-minute timer and look for the Baron.
I think so.
You feel like Poppy's going to be able to tank that up nice and easily. And Shun at 2 items already does have the damage to be able to take down that purple worm.
LJW may be looking for something. Has flank position, is not spotted out.
Oh.
So he will find access to Shun, but he has ult and cleanse available. I think they want to try something here, though.
Feels like they almost kind of have to. But it is just going to be a team fight if anything were to happen. Importantly, LJW's position
he gave up his position.
Known.
I'm surprised he gave that up. I mean, he had a really good flank. Would have been able to find it now, but feels like they kind of let that opportunity slip. Not sure if that would have been good for them anyway, but now fight begins.
Teleport's coming in. Keep an eye on Jimmy on your screen here on that. Nico comes in, finds 4. It's another massive ult here out of a Nico at the PCS, and flash forward goes Gemini. Oh. Massive Magnet Storm, Feather Storm on top of it, and it's annihilation here in the second to last game of summer, where we're seeing a massive team fight picked up. Attention now towards the Baron.
I think it's gone. There's really no way to contest this, and there's just too much DPS, but we could be looking at a perfect game here. Ooh. It's pretty likely, honestly. I feel like it's very hard to kill pretty much anyone in this game. Maybe Chelsea could be the target, but it would feel pretty bad, I think, for Impunity to exit the summer split with a perfect game against them. For CFO, I mean, it would be a nice confidence boost, of course, coming into their match against Frank tomorrow is what it looks like. And we'll get a repeat of this. LJW, I don't know why he gave up that flank. It feels like if you are going to look for a fight, which maybe you shouldn't, but if you are, having the flank would make this a lot better. Instead, gives it up, opts into front to back, and front to back against the 2-item Xayah. Not something you'd want, and of course the 4-man Pop Blossom comes through. It looks like that's the end of it, but Shalcy, he says no, finds a huge Magnet Storm, and just so much AoE, cleans them all up.
Yeah, massive triple kill there for Shun, as you saw. Now making great headway into picking up his Bloodthirst as a 3rd item. Meanwhile, Blaze, his counterpart, struggling to even get 1.5. Now, I think at this stage, as Impunity, game feels pretty over. You got to look to not give it over as a perfect game.
Yeah, for sure.
And
this could be the way.
This could be. Oh,
he's no stopwatch, no flash.
Okay, does get stopped up. Pop Blossom coming out. The stun should be able to land, and that won't be the perfect game. Jimmy getting caught out there. On the other side of the map, though, it's Gemini under the tower. Maybe we're going to see a second death in quick succession. He's getting pretty low. The unrelenting force will come through, and Blaze picks himself up one. So, in quick succession, 2 kills found there from Impunity. Feels a little too late, especially with this Dragon Soul spawning in 1 minute.
Yeah.
But they do stop any chances of a perfect game.
It does. I mean, it slows down the game. You kind of feel like they're not really going to be able to use the time for anything. But it does slow down the Baron. And I guess it gives you time to scale if somehow you can kind of hit spikes and hit some miracle timing. I mean, that's the 0.1% chance of winning this game. But it does feel pretty over at this point. I wonder if they'll try contest this 4th dragon or just give it over. Feels like you should probably fight it. Especially given that Jimian does not have flash for this one. I think, yeah, will not have flash and it should have been timed. It's very important, of course. Instead, maybe they're just going to trade gold on top. See what happened to Gemini. I guess he went for a flash over the wall or something. Yeah, Hex flash over the wall. Tried to find Shera. But the stun was good. The knockback, I suppose. And a TP comes in. Gemini, he almost... Well, I don't even know if he almost got out, because I don't think his flash was back up. Still think it was Hex flash. They trade a top tower for it. They get that top tier 1. But that should be the dragon pretty much forfeit at this point.
Yeah, and I guess if you can make the game last until the point of Elder Dragon, you could look for the Elder Dragon flip to try and win a team fight and get yourself back in. Feels a little bit far-fetched, but maybe.
I mean, CFO don't even care about the drag. They just want to keep sieging. If they can break open the base, even 1 tower would go a long way. Ooh. Okay, it does go down. Bot tower as well.
Risk getting himself one as well. Now, Baron does run out here, so CFO, knowing that buff's down, may as well turn their attention towards this dragon. Arashi could be caught out here. Counter-Strike comes through, will land onto him. Shalcy follows up and will land the stun too. Now, Feathers will catch the onto LJW. He'll get stunned up and loses the Dominus. Now, importantly, that is a very big team fight ultimate out of the game, and all 5 available still for CFO.
So we'll just grab up this dragon, which is, it's pretty big. I feel like having this. The soul is quite useful for their team. Just having all that movement speed will feel really nice. Feels like this game might go on for a bit still. Kind of need that Baron, I would say, for CFO to really finish this one up. Especially given that there's quite a lot of wave clear now between the Syndra and the Zeri. But look at Shun's items. I mean, this is a game that he is not even close to dying, and he does by far the most damage on his team.
Yeah, feels pretty impossible to deal with Xayah in any real way. I mean, you really need to find a way to get some of her suns off, or maybe that ultimate out, but how do you do that without overcommitting? At which point you pretty much just lose. Now, Jimian becoming Shun. There are 2 Xayahs. I wonder which one could be the real one. I don't think it's the one doing almost no damage to the tower.
Okay, they get 2 inhibs, so they're not even going to wait for the Baron. They're just happy to stroll on in here and take these. I don't think they can end the game unless they find some sort of engage, and Impunity might give them that engage. They're walking up pretty aggressively. Looks like CFO will just walk away, though. So eyes should be on the Baron, and I think with 2 inhibs down, it's going to be really hard for the side of Impunity to contest. It already is, because they're so far behind in gold, but the towers or the inhibs being down just kind of add insult to injury. So many waves that you have to clear. And of course it feels bad to kind of write one team out of the game. And what is a relatively, you know, short game, right? It's only 25 minutes in, but it just feels so hard to overcome this sort of deficit. Feels like you need to win kind of like 3 team fights back to back and grab all the neutrals.
Yeah, and even then, it feels like you are the lesser team fighting comp.
Yeah.
And so, it feels like a very, very tall task to ask for that. Now, Baron spawning in 20 seconds. I feels like this will just be the last fight of the game.
Most likely.
If somehow Impunity are able to win it, though, it could be pretty exciting. However, unrealistic.
Yep, okay, 10 seconds away. Now, do they just start it up instantly? I think they should. They've claimed all this vision. It's really, really hard to look in, and oh my, Shun's gold. He's got a lot.
Yeah. Up almost an item and a half in terms of gold over Blaze. And it's reflected. Definitely reflected when you look at their inventories. Almost a Flame Horizon too.
Yeah. Okay. Impunity, they know they have to contest somehow, but CFO, they're waiting for them.
And Rest, they're rounding them in. Blaze going to have to pop that cleanse, pop that ult already. He's trying to find the damage here, but they don't have it in the 5-man Pop Blossom. From 0 to 100. Or 4-man, sorry, Ophelia wasn't even there.
Ophelia got sent back home by Gemini's ult.
He's gonna stop the minions. And so
they got a bot wave.
Yeah, oh, true, they do have bot. Ophelia trying his best.
Now he has to get to bot wave.
You see, look at the player cam, he's got a little bit of a smile on his face. He knows he's doing a bit of trolling.
How broken is Nico, man? Every game.
Yeah. I know. Some amazing team fights found. Ultimately, though, this does confirm, I mean, we got to see the end of the Nexus explode yet, as Ophelia's trying to keep them in it. Will not be able to. He's just going to get eliminated. And now with that, CFO finally, it took them so long, but with that win, they confirm that they will be in that top 6 and they will be competing against Frank